Hey, Baltimore City. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Hey, family. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Hey, family. Hey, family. Hey, family. Baltimore City. I just want to say rest in peace to Reverend Jesse Jackson. I just want to say rest in peace to Reverend Jesse Jackson. My heart sunk. And I watched him, being 84. Time, basically what I'm talking about, age. But my heart dropped because I know the work it takes to do what we do. And I listen to a lot of people, right? And I'm going to just say this, y'all, as a human rights advocate, right? When I say human rights advocate, I'm talking about like Communities United, which is under the Center for Popular Democracy. They fight for people as a whole, civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. You get me? Then you got American Civil Liberty Union. They fight for people. It's people in general, not just all black. So when you hear me mention those two, they are organizations that fight for people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. And for a lot of y'all that might not know, because I didn't know until I got a little bit involved with the ACLU, they fight for the illegals' rights to be here. Because people come from other countries to come to the United States to live a better way of life. But what I said earlier, they are pouring in too much, which is causing the United States a lot of money, more money, right? So the only reason why I'm saying this, family, because as a human rights advocate, when I look back at Dr. Martin Luther King, when I look back at Malcolm X, when I look back at, I didn't do a lot of research on Marcus Garvey, but I know a lot of people, I know some people who follow him and believe in his journey and his mission, right? And I'm only saying that, family, because I know what a lot of us go through. And I'm not just talking to be talking like some people want to talk about certain things, but they never participated in it. But I'm going to say this, and I shared it earlier. Get involved wherever you live at. Get involved with your community neighborhood association. Find out who are your elected officials for your district. Y'all voted them in. That's all you got to do is read up about them too. Their bio and stuff like that, their mission statement, all of that. Now, I might forget some things, but bear with me to what's coming to mind that I'm able to share, right? As a lot of y'all know, I used to be a part of the problem in Baltimore City. I used to live a certain lifestyle, a very, 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 very destructive lifestyle. So I didn't pay a lot of attention back during the days when I was coming up to like Malcolm X, to like a Jesse Jackson, to a lot of our civil rights, leaders and advocates. I didn't pay a lot of attention to them, but I heard about them during those days. You get me? It wasn't really until I got clean that I began to see what's actually was going on around us, what is going on around us, right? And my goal was to get involved in helping to slow down a lot of that crooked lifestyle with selling the smugs and all that type of stuff. That was the whole reason why I got involved with community stuff, to help build back up into the community in which we was turned down. I want to say this, right, and I can only, like I said, speak for Baltimore City. Baltimore City has changed a lot. It might not appear like that to some people, but you got to understand, it is certain areas that's where the smug trafficking is really deep. But you got to understand too, it takes work to slow a lot of it down. I want to say stop it, right? But it takes work to slow a lot of it down. And as a community organizer who used to live that life, you have nonprofits and organizations in your communities that you need to get involved with, because if you cannot in your community gain control personally, I'm gonna just say you, like me, on my own, I can't do it. But with the team of us, you can slow a lot of stuff down. But now it's the community. We can't keep going around blaming Brandon Scott, Ivan Bates. He's a prosecutor, but y'all ain't gonna blame him. So, cause he gonna prosecute your butt. But I'm just saying, Westmore, if your community is being destructive, 9 times out of 10, it's your children. And I'm talking about us as adults. It's your children that's tearing your community apart. Your nieces, your nephews, if all of y'all living in the same neighborhood, it's your family members that's tearing your community apart. And I know you probably talking with them, yelling at them, doing this, doing that, you get me? I got all that. I understand all that. But if they're not listening to you personally, then you got to seek extra help. That's why you get involved with other organizations in your community. The reason why I say that, right? So that you can see, do they have programs where if you got teenagers, then you might have a son 30, you might have a son 40 and daughters, but they staying at home with you like they babies. And you really taking care of them like they children, but you are an adult. And a lot of them have babies, but they're not taking care of their responsibilities. But you taking care of your adults, sons and daughters like they children, babies, basically, teenagers. But they grown. No. No. Now I can see if they living with you and they working, but they don't have the finances yet to be able to step out on their own. I can see all that. But if they living with you and they out there hustling, you know, sooner or later, if it don't take them down, and you know what I mean, take them down, right, in their life. Because you know I'm on TikTok too, so I had to watch what I say for TikTok's sake. So in their life, or I call the prison, right, the slave plantation. I call the prison the slave plantation, right? It was just something that I put up behind me. I call the prison the slave plantation, right? Do y'all realize once you go to prison, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner? How we say you got 3 meals in a cot. That's your bed. You got a certain time. You don't have to go to sleep, but you know lights is out. And the prison system is actually now dictating your life. Do you really want that? And then you want to sit back and blame the white man because you done did certain things to get you locked up. But you want to blame the white man for your mistakes or for your criminal behaviors. But you got to take responsibilities for yourself. You know the old saying, if you don't do the crime, you won't do the time. Y'all know the old saying, if you don't do the crime, you won't do the time. You can go out there and you can commit a crime, but eventually, if they identify you, the police gonna come and get you. The goal of coming to get you so you won't keep acting like that with other people, putting people's lives in danger. So basically, you're not just putting other people's lives in danger, you're putting your own life in danger. And I'm going to tell y'all, I can only say that, right, because of the way I used to live. And I don't live like that no more. And to be honest with y'all, I thank God that he protected me even through all of that. I thank him. Because I'm going to tell y'all, man, when I was out there, I didn't realize a day at a time I was trying to commit unaliving myself for TikTok's sake, family. I had to say unalive, but it's suicide in Baltimore City. I just have to say certain things for TikTok. And I really want y'all to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not going to shut my mouth for nobody. I'm not going to sit back, and as long as I have breath in my body and I can move and I can talk, even if I have to go and sit at some of these rallies, protesters. When I mean sit, I don't have to speak, but just be there. You get me? That's all I'm saying. Sometimes I wish I could participate more from where I'm at, but I can't. I went looking at, and it's like the fourth one, I've been looking at a field where we can start the multi-purpose center. So I'm looking at what they're doing up the street. They building a bigger building, like a recreation center. My thing is, we need those type of things for our children. And not only that, we need to do music, art, theater, dance, and then we're going to have to get volunteers. To me, that's not a problem, right? Because you can always go to these colleges. and get students that's into music, that's into singing, that's into dancing, that can properly educate our children. That's where my heart is at. That's where my mind is at. That's where my spirit is at. But I can't do it by myself. So I'm going to just say his name, Maurice Thompson, out of Yonkers, New York. He had programs like that. So I asked him to help me here to open up a multi-purpose center for inner city youth. So we've been staying connected. So when that time comes, because you know you got to prepare for everything. And be honest with y'all, I wanted it overnight. Whenever I think about something, I want it done like right then and there. But I realized that's not how life is. And not only that, you know, God make plans. Because God laid this on my spirit, family, to start rehabbing and revitalizing houses for the inner city people. Me and Bree Jones. Bree Jones came from New York. We was talking about this at Communities United. Bree Jones right now, she's doing low to moderate income housing. And the city is participating with her. So once they started working with her, I said, I'm next. I'm telling you. Once Brandon Scott and our politicians and all that started working with her, I said, I'm next. I'm next in line. Because we both have the same vision. Now she got the support of the city. And I'm going to say private investors and stuff like that. And I'm proud of her. Because this is the stuff we was talking about, right? Basically, we was talking about gentrification. Follow me, family. Follow me, please. We was talking about gentrifying and gentrification. The goal is to slow it down. Because you can't replace all the inner city poor people. Where you going to put them? So these are things that I talk to people about when it comes to our people. It's a bunch of women in Baltimore City that's rehabbing and revitalizing houses. Y'all don't hear about that. It's women. This redeveloping houses, rehabbing houses. Basically all women. They might have a couple of guys there, but it's the women. See, y'all don't know unless you get involved with certain things, right? You'll know what's going on here and there, here and there. And I want to say thank you, Mac, because Mac is with Harlem Park Theater. And I met the owners of that, and Mac is a part of that. They got that whole block from Emerson Avenue to Harlem Avenue, because I used to live on Harlem. They right in between that, where the park is at. The church is considered now as a historical place, but it's a theater. Now, I haven't, because y'all know a couple of years I got arrested, but I haven't been over there, I'm going to say in almost 3 years to see how things have came about, but I'm going to visit because I know what they're trying to do to the community, or not trying, but doing. They own their whole block. And we was on Real's platform, and Mac came up. Now, I didn't know Mac, but when Mac started talking about what he do, then I was like, well, where you at in Baltimore, blah, blah, blah. Once he said it, I was like, oh, you down there with what's your name and his mother. So I don't know if Mac was the buddy with them that I met during that time too. Because 9 times out of 10, when I was down there with them, Mac was down there too with the brother, whatever. Because it was two guys together, the son and his friend. So I'm assuming the friend was Mac. If not, then I know he's with some great people. Period. That's doing some work. Not just talking. I know they doing it. And when he told me that, oh my God, I lit up because I was glad to hear it. Then he mentioned Wiley. I got 33 years clean. Wiley might have about 40 years from Wiley Funeral Home. Businessman. He got about 4 or 5 funeral homes. I'm telling you, I'm just saying this, family, right? Because I'm thinking about Jesse Jackson as well. And I'm just thinking about the fight family, the stuff we do, the people we get involved with. You know, I sent something over in 2023. You know, I helped Ivan Bates in his when he ran for state's attorney twice, support him and everything. The second time he won, the police commissioner, Michael Harrison, when he was here. And I'm only saying that, Baltimore, because of what I do. And I realize you have to get to know your politicians, Republicans and Democrats alike. They aren't the only two political parties. They aren't. But they are the two strongest political parties. Or dominating. See, a lot of y'all don't know if you don't get involved into certain things. Now, what I did in this process, family, I started strengthening. Just strengthen, not strengthening. I started strengthening the community, LLC. I was going to do the 501c3, but the reason why I did the LLC, because actually I didn't want the grant money, because I didn't want a lot of, you know, politicians, government stuff into my business. That's all it was. But now I know how important it is to do the 501c3, because you're looking for that money. So I know how important it is. So I've been reading up on some stuff where you can put, or I got the LLC, so basically I can start the 501c3, right? I can do that anyway, period. But my thing is, when I say it, is to go under the LLC. But either way, I can start, right? Because that's where the multi-purpose center, that's where all of that will come into play. Because yes, we are going to need that government funding or private funding. And the reason why I'm saying it, because a lot of our schools and recreation centers that's closing down is because they're not putting the money into it. And not only that, they are cramming. They might close 2 schools or either one, and then put them that 2 school in the 1. That's why you might have teachers say at one point they had about 20 kids. I'm going to use that as an example in their class. Now they got 35. That's a lot of children to teach, mainly when somebody needs help personally. That's why a lot of our children are asking for that help, and they starting to fail, mainly our young Black men. I can only speak for Baltimore City. I can only speak for Baltimore City. But if you in DC, you in Chicago, you in Detroit, y'all know what I'm saying. If you basically involved into community stuff, then you or people, civil rights, equal rights, you know, fighting for people's rights. You know what I'm talking about. It's the ones that don't understand and the ones that just want to run off of their mouth. You know, a lot of times when we at City Hall or whatever community center you're at with your politicians and stuff like that, you got some politicians that's actually for helping the people, like walking them through a process. That's like the Democrats. They try to make programs to help you walk through, but it can stagnate you as well too. Then you got the Republicans that want people to be more independent, where you do not have to depend on state and government funding. I know all of that because I talk with them. I know Democrats and I know Republicans. But it's people like us. They can only come up with policies and laws and, legislations and rules. But guess what? You got to have solutions. Because when they create laws, it's either to benefit from it or you're going to turn around and suffer. And 9 times out of 10, when you break any laws that they create, what happens? You broke the law, so you're going to go to prison. Politicians do too. A lot of them might be doing stuff for their own personal self, and the government will turn around and throw it right into politics, and y'all don't even pay attention. It could be something personal from their own stuff, and they'll throw it right in, and now they crooked. So y'all fall right for the okie dokie. I see it all the time. And they mainly do it to the ones that's mainly for the people. But y'all don't get it. I see it. When you got people that's really here to fight for you, and they'll turn around and make you believe in your mind that because of what they're doing on a personal note, that has nothing to do with politics, but it's thrown in. Just like what's your name, when he said Obama wasn't, how Obama, wait a minute, what was Obama's father? I think Obama's father was African or somewhere along that line, but his mother was white, right? Well, anyway, they was from 2 different continents. So now he made it seem like he wasn't a black man. Biracial, mixed. But he fixed it with everybody. He ain't American. He ain't this. He ain't that. And then he turned around and called out Kamala. He did the same thing to her. He did to Obama. And then to find out his mother and his father them came from where? Oh, it's okay though. That's why y'all gets me, because you never pay attention to nothing. I just don't like the way, to be honest with you, I don't like the way they be playing us. Playing in our face. Rather they're Democrats or rather they're Republicans. Now, I'm not talking about all of them. So that's why you have people like Martin Luther King or Jesse Jackson. I'm just talking about our civil rights advocates, right? That's why you have people, once they in and they see what's going on, now is how you play the game. I see it myself. It's how you play the game. Sometimes they're not going to agree with the bull crap. Like me. I want money just like everybody else. I'm no different. But the goal with me is not to sell y'all out to fatten up my pocket. I know a lot of people that's selling y'all out with nonprofits and stuff like that, getting rich off of people pain and misery. I see it all the time too. I just choose not to do that. I see it. But I understand all of this go back to good and evil. Choose one. Choose which one you're going to serve. If you're going to be a sneaky, no good, crutch ball, blah, 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 do what you got to do and be good at it. If you're going to be a righteous type person and want to see people prosper the right way, the healthy way, the responsible way, the productive way, you might not get to that top all the way up there, but you can reach your own top economically, being able to maintain and take care of your family, take care of your responsibilities. That's all you want to do. You can put a little extra money on the side, you know, for vacations and emergencies and stuff like that. We can't take it with us, but it's a beautiful feeling to be comfortable. Let me just say that word right there. Because when the money is not in your pocket, be honest with you, it has no value, but you know it's there. The point is, you know it's there when you need it. So you can buy some expensive, nice things. Everybody is not there with all that money. Billionaires and stuff wanting to turn around and buy the fancy yachts and all of this, and everybody not there. Because once you realize, rather, I'm driving a 1969 or you Toyota, I'm just using that as an example, and you driving a 2026 the same way, and we going to the same place, right? It gets you from A to B. And when you start seeing stuff like that, certain things don't matter as much. Now, you do want nice things, but that's all it is. Listen to what I said. You do want nice things, materialistically. I see they putting up, well, they honoring Jesse Jackson, right? And I wish I could really find the words, family, because I'm like, I never met him in person, but it's just the stuff. I did vote for him when he ran for president back in the days, family. I did. But just to look at the work, that's where I'm at. It might not matter to y'all, and be honest with you, I do not care, just like y'all. I do not care. When I look back at the fight, the battle, and I always got to go because being in the ministry of good and evil, is good and evil. The system that they put together to enslave and oppress the people is good and evil. And when we talk about stuff like don't straddle the fence, we're talking about NNA, either you in or you out. You get me? Some people, it's just not, certain things is just not for them, but they live in a good quality life. Some people have to be taught again, mainly if they live a good quality life, but their life became, unmanageable, destructive because of practicing unhealthy behaviors. It happens. I'm one who was taught very, 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 very well, but started doing the opposite. Life was spiraling out of control. And I had to yell out, God, please help me. So when I say I was once blind, I'm not just quoting stuff. See, a lot of y'all quote stuff because it sounds good. But when I say I was once blind, but now I see. When I say I was once lost, but now I'm found. I'm talking about being lost in that destructive lifestyle. Just like Saul, before he became Paul. Saul was on the road of Damascus. Look what Saul was doing to the people in the community, as far as the Christian people, stuff like that. He was unaliving them, beating them, doing what he was punishing them. So when I look at Saul's life, and when I look at my old life, it reminds me of a Saul. And then when I read the part when Saul said, when Paul said, right? Paul said, it's the good in me I ought to do, but it's the evil in me I always find myself doing. So I'm looking at myself, right? And I'm looking at, being on this road, being on this mission for Christ. And sometimes you stumble and sometimes you fall. And I said, oh my God. When he said, it's the good in me I ought to do, but it's the evil in me I find myself doing. I said, oh my God, he struggled with his flesh, but he never gave up on the mission. That's how I know whether y'all truly understand scripture or not. Because Paul said it. But see, when he talked about that thorn in his side, right? Anything that's piercing your side, get it? It hurts. It hurts. Anything. So I was looking at being poked in the side. You know what I mean? With a folder. You know what I mean? So when he said, it's like God, please put it back in my spirit. A thorn in his side. And I had to look at my flesh because he said a thorn in his side. So I'm looking at my flesh. Anything that pierces my flesh tend to hurt. It hurts. So that's what I was looking at. Whatever he was doing basically too, it was hurting. It was like being in the side. I said, oh my God. See, I don't know, for some reason, I think we got in our head that the people that God used in the Bible was perfect. No, they was human beings. Some lived a righteous life. Some struggled with a righteous life. Look at David. David had what, 100 wives? And I think I said 100 concubines. Somebody said it was 700. All on women? Then he gonna turn around and put Bathsheba's husband on the front line to be unalive? I said, that thing must have been banging. Out of all the women, I said, that thing must have been banging for him to put her husband on the front line so he wouldn't know she was pregnant by him. I said, oh my God. See, y'all might not see that. But the thing is, when I was reading the book, no matter what he did, God told David, no matter how you stumble and fall, Steve Copeland, you still a man after my own heart. So what that taught me, no matter how you fall down, get up and keep moving. The same way being a civil rights advocate or human rights advocate, no matter how you get knocked down, Steve, stand up and keep moving. Because it's not for me. It's not my battle. See, I ain't worrying about them like y'all are. The government did, the government that, the white man did, the white. I don't worry about that like y'all. That's why y'all never hear me talk in that sense. the white man this and the white man that and the systematic. You don't hear me talk like that. Because the thing is, once you are aware of what's really happening, like to us as a human race, y'all just want to keep making it black and white. No. As human beings, we're not the only ones suffering. And I didn't understand that until I went to Detroit with Communities United to help fight for the immigrants. I want to make sure I say it right. They was either Hispanics or one of them. And we went there and did a rally and a protest with them for their rights. The same things that was happening to us in Baltimore City was happening to them up in Detroit. And that's when I realized black people ain't the only people that suffer. And some of y'all know it too, and you know what you'll turn around and do. It's like, okay, because they going through what they going through, but not as bad as us. Listen to stuff like that. Look how we speak. Yeah, but I'm like, when we go, like, what in the hell? And y'all will do that. It's nothing like what's happening with us. And be honest, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach when I hear y'all doing that. Yeah, but it's not like the white man won't let us do this, and the white man won't let us do that. The white man not tearing up the black community. Since y'all like talking like that, the white man is our people destroying their own stuff. And it's by design. If it's in the black poor community, what race is normally, you know I'm talking about population-wise, that's in the black community. That's destroying their own communities. At one point, I ain't see a lot of this. I'm telling you. But when you in it, the only thing you do is cry. But when you step out of it and you look back, you like, oh my God. And you become, not everybody, a voice for the people. That's what the couch conversation is about. This is not your regular TikTok live stream. That's what the couch conversation is all about. I use my voice. Mackenzie Frost, when she first did an interview with me, she called me the voice for Baltimore City. I didn't say that. She said it. Then she talked about the business, strengthen the community. But I think she said strengthening the community. That's how she introduced me. Lady J with What's Up Baltimore. Right, she got her own show. She reached out to me because she wanted to meet me because she heard so much about me. She said, do you know you are considered as the most hated man in Baltimore City? I did not know that. I did not know that. But y'all gave me that label for stepping up for our people. It was the black people in Baltimore City that started calling me names like that, not the white man. And when Steve Blanchard interviewed me, he called me the most controversial man in Baltimore City. And I said, that's right, because I don't take no bull jump. This is my home. no coward. And I wasn't talking to the people itself. I was trying to get us to come together to fight for the things that we want out of life. I forgot, but it came from Baltimore City as well. The big mouth, bald head, black dude. And the only thing I'm doing was fighting for our rights. I wasn't getting paid, so I didn't have to kiss nobody's butt, family. That's why I was able to say some things that some people couldn't say. Because there's a paid organizer, and I'm telling you, they give you a script to read off. And if you're in the poor community, they want you to say certain things to embrace the poor community with a lie. But y'all got mad at me, and I'm not paid to kiss people butt for y'all. So I was going up against the opposition. Do y'all know how that made me feel when I heard stuff like that? And I'm putting my life on the line? Going up against Brandon Scott and all of them for the right things for us? Running off in my big mouth, I got a family too. And the only thing y'all could say, oh, he this, oh, he that. Yes. But I needed y'all to back me up. I needed y'all. The same way them polices came for me, I needed y'all. Y'all watch what I went through. Oh, he gonna go to prison. Oh, he gonna do this and that. I wasn't trying to go no goddamn going prison. I was speaking out for y'all. And that hurt me to my heart. Y'all Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized religious people don't even want to stand up and fight. Jesus got it. Jesus got it. Jesus called us to fight for him. I ain't understand a lot of that in the beginning, but I understand it now even more. That's why I do the talk show. This is the way I get my voice out. I don't care if you like it or not. Because what I do, I pray and ask God to reduce me and increase him. That's what y'all want to hear? Hallelujah. That's the way y'all want me to talk? In the name of Jesus. Huh. No, that's not how God raised me. Look, that's not how he raised me. Sometimes I kid and I joke, Baltimore. I'm telling y'all, sometimes I kid and I joke, right? And I'll be like, I can see Jesus up there now. Dad, look at him down there. Look at him. He acting like a fool, Dad. Look, he down there acting like a fool, Dad. And I can see God saying, son, that's the way I created them. Sometimes I'm real proud. And don't let the ego and stuff like that. When I say I'm proud, I'm talking about to have the courage and the confidence to fight against people that don't want to see us succeed. I just need y'all to back me up. Be honest with y'all, this is like ministry for me. To come on here. Sometimes I don't feel like it. And use my voice. And I know a lot of times I can scare a lot of people. Because basically I'm trying to tell you to stand up. Nothing gonna change if we don't fight for change. I'm just looking at Jesse Jackson, right? I'm looking at, you know, before he passed, he old. He old. And I know he old and he tired. He tired. I'm just looking at his face, family. I'm looking at him, you know, he's not a kid no more. And then even with Farrakhan, right? I noticed Farrakhan, you know, they older now. You get me? And a lot of the stuff that we used to do, we can't be out front like that no more. And I'm way younger than them, right? But I'm just looking at the love, right? I'm just looking at the love that we had for our people. No matter if you came Farrakhan way, if you came Malcolm X way, if you came like a Martin Luther King, if you came like a Reverend, you know, I post a picture of me and Pastor Smith at Hubert Memorial because he's an activist too. I post a picture of me and Pastor Hathaway. These are fighters in Baltimore City that I know y'all probably don't even pay attention to. Doing some great work. I posted that. Because I started thinking about how we put our life on the line, right? And it's not that you want to go to jail and, you know, be ridiculed and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at my life. And I know they went through the same things. I'm looking at my life and I know they went through the same things. Because you're fighting for what is right for your people. And we criticize y'all the same way y'all talk bad about me. They're going to talk bad about him too. Watch how we come in. Everybody gonna dig up negative information. Oh yeah, he cheated on his wife. He got 5 or 10 kids on the side. But forget the mission. Forget the purpose. I said I can't wait because I know y'all gonna do it. I'm talking about black people. You're gonna criticize. You're gonna downgrade them. Just like y'all did Martin Luther King. But then you want to turn around, it's the white man. It's the white man. It's the white supremacy. No, it's us doing that bull crap to us. Us. I don't care if you like it or not. It's real. Be honest, it's real. And that's what I had to start learning, Steve. Be real to yourself. To thy own self, be true, Steve. I was taught to win favor in God and not man first. My goal is to make sure I'm aligned with him when it comes to his people. So for me, I understand a Reverend Jesse Jackson, excuse me. I understand a Dr. Martin Luther King. I understand a Malcolm X with my big mouth. But I ain't sitting up here saying we need to knock this down, we need to tear that apart. That's not what I'm saying. My thing is intervention. when you're looking at the crisis, right, that's going on within your community or your city, it's how can we, certain things we can slow down, certain things we can put to a stop. But it takes work. It takes work. Rather you in the church, if God delivered you from a certain lifestyle and you don't want to go back and help somebody else, you ain't got to preach. Speak to them in layman terms. Make it real, real simple. Because if you pushing the Bible on them, that's going to push some of them away. So you got to know how to fish. Get out of that box. Jesus said, come follow me. I will make you fishers of men. I'm going to show you how to fish for men. Human beings. That's why you get involved. Oh, I can say this thing and went out on me again. That's how you get involved in your community, so you know what's in it to help the people, the elderlies as well, the veterans. I ain't trying to give up on us, family. And like I said, I was looking at Jesse Jackson. I was looking at them because, you know, you get flashes back from the civil rights movement and stuff like that. And when you sit back, man, and you look at people, you want to say Harriet Tubman, all that type of stuff, that's good too. But you look at people who actually, I'm talking about Black people, who actually put their life on the line. And some lost it. They lost their lives. Some of them died at old age too. But look at what they were doing so that we can have equal rights just like anybody else. Y'all keep thinking that it's just a white man and Black man thing. No, it's all different cultures out there. We get a lot of product from China. So you got to look at it. It's just not a black and white thing. Get out of there. Because you're so stuck. You are so stuck. And then you passing out unhealthy information to your own people. Rather than sharing the stuff with them, what you are doing with others in your community to help rebuild. That's what it's all about. If you got an issue with the school system in Detroit, with Chicago, with DC, I spoke out against our school superintendent not properly educating our children, giving the teachers the proper curriculum. Then I started understanding more about the school to prison pipeline. So I understood why now. But now, once your eyes are open, that's all you're going to do is just talk about it, because that's what a lot of y'all do. You got great information, And you'll just sit back, yeah, because they're not properly educating our children, blah, blah, blah. If you're a retired teacher, you know we got some community centers around where children go to. Go teach them. Tutorers. Y'all already know a lot of the parents might not be well educated to help their children with math, science. I remember when algebra came out when I was young. I still don't understand it. And they probably got another name for certain maths. I don't know, because I'm out of school. But the thing is, you have teachers that retired that won't have a problem coming back, like spending a few hours to help educate the children. But you got to have a place for them to come. So what community center in your area? And every time a lot of y'all talk, y'all want to talk about Italy, y'all want to talk about all these other countries, rather than talking about your own. You comparing us to other countries. And a lot of y'all want people to move out of America to go to a foreign country. Rather than us focusing on our own. I'll be like, what in the freak is wrong with these people? You can go anywhere you want and probably run into the same stuff that's happening here. Because every area, and I believe continent, country, whatever, I think have their poorest areas too. Y'all just don't hear about them a lot. Look it up. You got people living in trash dump places, like a whole village. But if we don't come together, that's all it boils down to. We, us, collective, unity. Stop trying to tear each other apart. I'm over here minding my business. I don't deal with a lot of people like I used to. It's not that I won't pop up from time to time. I was told to focus more on my health and stuff like that. Move away from the business side, Steve. Focus on your health. So I try to walk as much as I can. I walked today. And I'm like, God, thank you for the energy that I was able to walk. I think it was about a mile. But I was able to walk. I got me a jump rope now. I got me a back brace. I ordered some the weight for the ankle. After I got that operation in August, it's like I lost a lot of energy. And to me, in my mind, it's like I'm too young to feel like this, even though I be 64. So I'm trying to see if it's the age thing or just, more healthy stuff that I got to do. So I'm sitting up here I'm doing my arms like this while I'm walking because I'm looking at the rope I got. So I can at least walk, but it's getting the arm movement. Then I got to ask myself, because I'm by myself, are you ready for this, Steve? For some of y'all, it's real, real simple. Oh, just do it. Because you quick to say it, but you not. So I already know the work that it takes to start, but it's the consistency. I can start something for about a week or two. Then the moment I say I'm going to take a break, Then that break turned out to be another week or two or a month. Then it's like, okay, you got to get back into it. And then I got to watch what I eat because I do not want to gain weight. I don't want to go back that route. I want to come off this medication. So I'm doing everything I can to bring the levels back down to normal so I can come off of the medication. It takes work. So I don't just sit back and say, oh, do this, oh, do that. I can share with you every step that I take to turn certain things around. It's the steps. Sometimes you might not feel like it. You got to push yourself. You got to push yourself. I know me. I said I need to go to like one of those fitness clubs where I could jump around, but I need to be around people for that inspiration that, go get, already know that. Because I ain't got no problem starting nothing. It's just continuing it. So I'm only sharing with y'all what God is laying on my spirit. I'm not asking y'all to because I'm thinking about some of the stuff that people might say, right? When I open up my mouth, it's not for a lot of y'all. I already know that. The sad part about it, family, and I don't like to talk like this, we just got a bunch of miserable people. We got miserable, hateful people that wants to sit back and see you be miserable. So they only giving you what they have here. But to them, I'm this loving, caring, kind, considerate person. But they are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually abusive people. But they can't see it. To them, in their mind, they doing such a great job. They can't see it. That's why you have a lot of marriages falling apart, relationships, because people have, which is called the chemical imbalancement within the brain. Rather than them going to get the proper help, they just keep going and don't even realize the other lives, not just their life, but don't even realize the other lives they are destroying. Know why I can say that? One, I got 33 years clean. So I know how to do self-work. The whole point of the spiritual program is to evaluate yourself. The whole point to be a man of God is to live accordingly to the spirit. So I have to evaluate myself. I already know the difference between right and wrong. So if I find myself practicing a lot of old stuff, I know I got to get away from that because I'm repeating the same things again. That's how I know a lot of times rather I'm walking on the straight and narrow for Christ. I ain't trying to be smart. I ain't got to go to a therapist. Definitely ain't got to go to a psychiatrist. The only reason why? Because I talk with them anyway. Mainly when it comes down to dealing with the clients. I keep trying to tell y'all that. I deal with PRPs. I deal with counselors, therapists and stuff. Not just that. Hypnotherapists, hypnosis, right? So I'm learning a lot on therapeutic, people that has their degrees or license, but the goal is how they deal with this. They know how to deal with the mind. On a spiritual note, I know how to deal with people to help them regain self-awareness. That's what I do as a recovering addict. Help you restructure your life. I've been doing it for 33 years now. Whatever mistakes I made in my life, I put right here. And the reason why I put it here is to help you understand I was once there too. And this is what I was able to do to come up out of it and stay out of it a day at a time. So I can walk you out of a process. Walk you out of it. That behavior. That destructive behavior. You the one got to be willing to take the suggestions. That's all I can give you. And that's why I tell people when they reach out to me for help, you got to be the one. I got to listen to you, one, to see the best way to work with you. I got to see it. I got to listen. So I'll know how to work with you and improving your lives. So that's why I have to keep professionals around me as well. Like your PRP, your therapist, your counselor, your psychiatrist. I got to surround myself with all of them. I'm not a professional in that sense, but I'm real good what I do as a sponsor. I'm real good what I do as a man that started the housing program, because I use the same methods in helping people turn the quality of their lives around. And I'm talking about mothers and children and men. But you got to listen. You got to take the suggestions. If you're not willing to do it, then you're going to stay stuck. You can't tell help how to help you. You can't do it. And if people already know, say like, mainly our homeless and less fortunate people, that meant whatever happened, it could have been a job, could have been just finances. They might have had a gambling problem. But when you find people that's homeless, a lot of them do have psychological issues. They do have it. So that's why they had to sign up for the mental health program. You can tell me, well, I only got depression or only deal with PTSD, but then turn around, you done zapped out on me. You done went into a state of mania, and I'm wondering why. I'm like, what's wrong with this person? Blah, blah, blah. So if you got to be honest to tell me where you at mentally. So once you do kind of wild out or you go into a certain phase, I know it's not personal. And then I know if I can't talk you down out of it, now I got to get you some professional help. But then people, y'all won't want to tell me, and I've been doing this for years, how to deal with people. Because you studied this or you studied that, but I'm like seeing it straight out, living proof, and understanding what needs to be done to bring them down, to bring this mind down, because their mind is speeding, their mind is racing. So the goal is to calm it down, calm them down. And a lot of times, if they on meds and they stop taking their meds, they need their meds to balance them back out. So it'll slow the brain down from rushing. That's all. I don't know. Baltimore City, I'm going to get ready to end this. I done went past my half an hour on here. But my 45 minutes I meant. But I love y'all. And I'm not turning my back on Baltimore City. I was born and raised here. And when God called me home, I'm going to be here. So I love y'all. And I'm out, Baltimore.